My name is Tommy. Welcome back to the channel. It's time for another episode of Wednesday Afternoon Worship. Today, we're back on to First World Realm of the Fae. After a week off, after getting settled in, moving some stuff around, it's time, at last. Let's talk about the Lantern King, shall we? If you're liking what you're seeing, like, subscribe, ding the bell. Stay caught up with your Pathfinder 1st and 2nd edition content. Lantern King today is just going to be in 1st edition because, we're going to see this in 2nd edition really soon. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. For now, this episode of Wednesday Afternoon Worship was brought to you in part by Dragon Ninehide. Thank you for your support, friend. Now let's hit it. So, when we think of mischief, when we think of trickery, here on planet Earth we have a few great examples. The Norse had Loki, Anansi the Spider in West African folktales, Eris for the Greeks, so on and so forth. In Pathfinder, Callistria is the goddess of trickery, but she's more associated with lust, revenge, things of that nature, not just trickery for trickery's sake. Fun for the sake of fun, and if it hurts someone, whoopsie daisies, they just don't know how to have fun. Enter the Lantern King. He's one of the eldest. After the gods abandoned the First World, one of the entities that rose up to fill the void. And even on a plane full of trickery, illusion-y fae, the Lantern King is a prankster without peer. He usually appears as a 1-foot-wide ball of floating golden light that shifts in color when making a point or expressing emotion. Sometimes it's circled by glowing runes in the shape of a coronet, which can give rise to the thought that maybe he was the first Will-O-Wisp, maybe the first Lantern Archon, or maybe the basis for them, but those questions have yet to be answered now. But to this day, those questions remain unanswered. According to the Lantern King, his sole purpose is to make the First World a less boring place, preferably with the injection of a little good-natured chaos and confusion. Unfortunately, what qualifies as less boring oftentimes is not convenient on the best of days for those around the Lantern King. The example used in First World Realm of the Fae is that the eldest might help a man whose house burns down, maybe by hiding a valuable magical sword in the ashes, or maybe even transform that man into a fish so that they never have to fear fire again. Those who have spent significant time in the Lantern King's company, no small feat of course, report that beneath this random, manic joviality is a cunning mind capable of working at a scale far beyond that of lesser creatures. Indeed, it's possible that major events across the planes, up to and including the gods' abandonment of the First World, might have been at the design of the Lantern King himself. The Lantern King also has a huge role to play in the CRPG version of Pathfinder Kingmaker. I won't talk about it in depth here because it spoils it, and since all of that new stuff is coming over into 2nd edition, I think we can definitely expect to see the Lantern King before seeing the stats of other similar creatures. Now, the eldest of laughter, mischief, and transformation kind of feels a little more on the evil side to me personally, but is in fact chaotic neutral. His domains are chaos, charm, madness, and trickery. Subdomains, deception, love, lust, and thievery. His favorite weapon is the dagger, and his symbol, a golden lantern containing colored lights. To perform the Lantern King's obedience, light a small lantern and tell a joke or the story of a prank you played on someone. This must be a different joke or story each time. In return, it's a +4 sacred bonus on saving throws against illusions. As of right now, the Lantern King only has one official boon path, and of course, we're here to expand upon it. The ones I didn't have to make, it's Disguise Self thrice a day, Hideous Laughter twice a day, or Suggestion once a day. At 16th level, you can cast Polymorph Any Object once per day. At 20th level, you can cast Shape Change once per day. Not quick, not flashy, does get the job done. Now let me take a spin. Evangelist boons, it's Decrepit Disguise thrice a day, Aversion twice a day, or Aura of the Unremarkable once a day. At 16th level, a number of times per day equal to your intelligence modifier, you may use the wishes of any creature other than yourself as a verbal component for any spell you have prepared today, or can cast for you spontaneous casters, as if you were a wishcrafter sorcerer, except that you are not limited to doing this once every 24 hours on a single target. And at 20th level, you may cast any spell of the same tradition, so a wizard could cast summoner spells, both arcane casters, A druid could cast cleric spells, both divine and first edition casters, so on, as if they were on your spell list and you had prepared them or are able to cast them. You must have sufficient caster levels to cast the spell of the spell's level, so a magus couldn't cast a 7th level wizard spell, for example. Sentinel boons, it's Illusion of Calm thrice a day, Painful Revelation twice a day, or Major Image once a day. At 16th level, illusion spells you cast can affect any target normally immune to mind-affecting effects. And at 20th level, targets who have failed their saves against illusion spells take 1d6 points of damage per level of the spell at the end of their turns. They perceive this damage as part of the illusion if the illusion could deal damage. Otherwise, the target hears strange, otherworldly laughter, followed by a sharp pain in their chest. And chaotic neutral means chaotic evil worshippers are possible. So sure, yeah, let's whip up an anti-paladin code for the super trickster. Why not? Sounds good. My job is to make life more interesting for everyone. Everyone is too stuck in their ways to realize the importance of my job, and that is their problem. My cunning mind is more powerful than my sword arm. Staying 20 steps ahead of my enemies is as simple as breathing for me. My appearance will change according to my needs and whims. My true form is a cloak I wear only for those I trust most. Lastly, I am happy to lend my abilities to those who sow chaos and discord, because fun is more fun when shared with others. And for that Planar Adventures boon, let's say the ability to cast Glibness as a spell-like ability, a number of times equal to your level. Anywho, the eldest are supposed to fall somewhere in the CR 20 plus range, and minor Pathfinder Kingmaker's computer game spoiler, you have been warned. The Lantern King is the final boss of Pathfinder Kingmaker, the extra bit added by Chris Avalone to take us to 20th level. I had some screenshots taken. Unfortunately, it looks like my computer destroyed and deleted them horribly. So, sorry about that one, guys. If you want to know what the Lantern King does in the CRPG, you'll just have to get there. Pretty good end to the story, I have to say. But if Kingmaker has showed us one thing, it's that bringing in the Lantern King into your games is real easy, almost scarily so. What begins as mischievous pranks here and there, causing a little chaos, a little confusion, is something that PCs can see and take at the surface level, not realizing that there's something pulling the strings with a bigger part to play in the story. This serves both to vex and entertain players in the early game, and then in the mid to late games realize they have a bigger fish to fry. And I could definitely play a servant of a deity who's just here to troll a little bit, because other reasons of course, but I think it's definitely a reasonable assumption to assume that most worshippers of the Lantern King, barring very close members of his court, have no idea what exactly the Lantern King's games are, and may just be pawns in a greater plan. Certainly, I think a deity like the Lantern King could have fit in super well as a core deity. Callistria, and to a lesser extent, I suppose, sort of Norgabur, fill a similar vein, but they both have other agendas that are very overt, and they are just willing to use trickery as a means of pursuing that greater agenda. The Lantern King has machinations and will use trickery to get them, but trickery is just more a part of who they are. Maybe I'm just partial to Loki. Anyway, what do you guys think about the Lantern King? Have we fought him? Have we worshipped him? What'd you play in Kingmaker? Throw it down in the comments. We'll keep the conversation going. Next week on Wednesday afternoon worship, it's homebrew time once again, by way of the ancient Greek goddess Hestia. See you then.